Hello and welcome to part 27 of my blanket Bonny. This is the last part. I hope you have fun and thanks for watching. Round 36 and red. Start with a standing single wherever you want and work single crochet all the way around, back loop only, and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 37 and light gray. Start wherever you want with a standing single, back loop only, and work single crochets all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 38 in black. Start in the first front post double with a standing front post double and work 8 front post double and skip a stitch and repeat. So always 8 front post double around the black front post double. And go all the way around, close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round number 39 and white. Now we work these hearts again. I'm sure you remember a little bit. Okay, I already made 2 of them. Okay, we start in the second stitch. This is the first stitch and this is the second stitch on the right side of this white stitch here. You work a standing single and I work a single through both loops of the black stitches and the black stitch and the gray stitch, and single, chain 3, skip 2 and single, chain 1 and turn. Now we will work 3 double, 1, 2 and 3, 2 treble, 2 times over, 1 and 2, and 1 double treble, 3 times over, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll work a slip stitch between these 2 stitches here, slip stitch, and repeat double treble 3 times over, 2 treble, and 3 double, 1, 2 and 3, turn. Now we'll work a single between the last double, between the last 2 stitches here, and the stitch we made here, single, 2 single through both loops of the black stitches and of the gray stitches, and a single between the chain 1 and the stitch we made before. Okay, and now 4 singles, back loop only, and this is the point we start. Okay, one more time, a little faster. Single, 1, 2, chain 3, skip 2 stitches, single, chain 1 and turn. 3 double, 3, 2 treble, 1 and 2, and a double treble 3 times over. Slip stitch, double treble 3 times over, 2 treble, 1 and 2, and 3 double, 1, 2 and 3. Turn, single, 2 single between, and a single, and 4 single, back loop only. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch and the first standing stitch. Round 40 and red, we start in this heart and these 2 stitches here. This is the first stitch is a standing single, and we work 6 single, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. With stitch number 7 we connect this loop here and both loops here with a single. This is stitch number 7 and stitch number 8. Single. This is the repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stitch number 7 and 8. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 41 and black. We start with a front post half double around this heart on the right side here. Front post half double, and 2 front post double, 1 and 2, front post half double, 2 front post double, 2, a front post treble, so 2 times over on top of the stitch of the popcorn, and 2 front post double, 1 and 2. And this is the repeat. Front post half double, 2 front post double, half double, 2 front post double, front post treble, and 2 front post double, and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. We skip round 42 and we skip round 43. Round 44 and black, start with a standing double wherever you want, a standing front post double, and work front post double around each stitch, and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 45 and wide, start on top of a popcorn stitch with a standing front post half double, and skip a stitch and work 17 single, back loop only, and this is the repeat. This is the first stitch, the second repeat. So front post half double, skip a stitch, and 17 single, back loop only, and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 46 and red, start wherever you want with a standing single, back loop only, and work single all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing single. Round 47 and black, start on top of a white front post half double and this red stitch on top, and work a single, back loop only. Work 4 front post double around the black front post double, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now you in the middle of a heart, and now work an increase, so a double in this loop, and 9 front post double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9, and now work another increase. You're in the middle of this heart, work another increase in this loop, so a double in this loop, and 4 front post double, 3 and 4, and this is the repeat. This is the first stitch of the new repeat, so go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 48 and wide, we start in the increase on top of this heart before the white front post half double here. So this is the first stitch. Start work 4 single, back loop only, and the first stitch is a standing single, 3 and 4. A front post double around this front post half double, and skip a stitch and single, back loop only. A front post double around the same front post half double, and skip a stitch and work 13 single, back loop only. Nine and 10. Eleven, 12, and 13. And this is the repeat. This is the first stitch of the new repeat, the increase, and on top of the heart before the white front post half double. So go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. We skip round 49, round 50 and black. We start on this white V, and we have 3 stitches on this V. 1, 2, and 3. And this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And we don't work around these stitches. We start a stitch before. So we start on the front post double before. This is the first stitch. Start with a standing front post double and work 3 double in this black loop. 3 double. And work 16 front post double around these stitches, around the front post double in black, and we don't work around this stitch, so this is the first of 16 front post double we work. And after 16 front post double, this is the last, and this is the first double of the new repeat. So front post double around this stitch, 3 double in a loop, and 16 front post double around the black front post double, and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 51 and red. Start in the first double in this white V. This is the first stitch. Work 7 single, back loop only, and the first stitch is a standing single. And 7. Now we work a 5 single popcorn in this white loop after the increase. Here's the increase, and this is the loop, the white loop. We work 5 single popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we close the popcorn. Chain 1. We skip a stitch and work 7 single back loop only. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we work a 5 single popcorn before the increase. So this is the increase, and we work these 5 single popcorn before the increase in this white loop. Mm-hmm. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Close the popcorn, chain 1, skip a stitch, and 4 single back loop only. And 4. And this is the point we start. Tuck all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 52 and wide. Start in the little popcorn before the wide V in this stitch, in the popcorn stitch, and work 3 single back loop only. The first stitch is a standing single, 3. Work a front post double around the wide V stitch, the wide V front post double, and skip a stitch and 5 single back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Front post double around this front post double, skip a stitch and 2 single, 1 and 2, and a single behind the popcorn, and 7 single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is the repeat. Go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. We skip round 53, round 54, and black. Start in this first wide front post double of this V and start with a standing single. Work a double in this loop and 3 front post double around this double. 1, 2, and 3, and work a double in this loop, in this black loop, and skip 5 stitches and single back loop only. 3 front post double around this 3 front post double in black, a front post double around the popcorn, and 7 front post double around the next front post double, and stitch number 4 is this stitch on top of the popcorn, this here, stitch number 4. So 1, 2, 3, number 4, 5, 6, and 7. Front post double around the popcorn, and 3 front post double. 1, 2, and 3. And skip all these stitches, and this is the first stitch of the new repeat, single back loop only, and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 55 and wide, start on top of this in the stitch on top of this little popcorn before this wide V. Work 3 single back loop only, and the first stitch is a standing single. 1, 2, and 3. Work a front post double around this front post double and skip a stitch and 7 single back loop only. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. and work a front post double around the white front post double and skip a stitch and 10 single back loop only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And this is the stitch on top of the popcorn. This is the first stitch of the new repeat. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 56 and dark gray. Start in this white front post double of this V and work 7 single back loop only, and the first stitch is a standing single, and work a front post double around this middle stitch, this stitch on top of the popcorn here. Skip a stitch and work 14 single back loop only. This is the repeat. 7 single, front post double, skip a stitch, 14 single. Go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. We skip round 57, round 58 and black. Start on a gray front post double with a standing single back loop only, and work 6 front post double around the 6 front post double in black. 3, 4, 5 and 6, and skip 5 stitches and single back loop only. Work 2 front post double around the first front post double, 1 and 2, 2 front post double around the second front post double, 1 and 2, a front post double, 2 front post double around the next stitch, 1 and 2, and 2 front post double around the last stitch, 1 and 2, and skip 9 stitches. Single back loop only. And 6 front post double around the 6 front post double in black. 3, 4, 5 and 6. And skip all the stitches, and this is the first stitch of the next repeat. And you have 24 stitches in each repeat. Go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 59 and white. Start in the black stitch on top of the dark gray front post double and work 6 singles back loop only, and the first stitch is a standing single. 6. Work a front post double around the white front post double, skip 1 stitch and work 11 single back loop only. 11, and work a front post double around this stitch, this front post double, skip a stitch and 5 single back loop only. 5, and this is the repeat. And go all the way around, close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. round 60 and dark gray. Start on this white front post double and work 5 single back loop only. The first stitch is a standing single, and work a front post double around this gray front post double, skip a stitch and single back loop only. Work a front post double around the same front post double and skip a stitch and work 16 single back loop only. And this is the repeat. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. And we skip round 61, round 62 and black. Start in the first stitch before this dark gray front post double, this stitch, and start with a standing single. Work 3 double in this black loop. 1, 2 and 3, and skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single back loop only. Work 2 front post double together, 1 and 2, and work them together, and a second time 1 and 2 and together, and a third time 1 and 2 together, and skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single back loop only. Work 2 front post double around the first front post double, 7 front post double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and 2 front post double around the last, 1 and 2, and skip 11 stitches, and single back loop only. Work 3 times, 2 front post double together, so 1, 2 and 3, and skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and this is the first stitch of the new repeat. Okay, go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 63 and white. Start in the second stitch after this white front post double here. This is the first stitch after, and then the second stitch after, and work 9 single back loop only. In the first stitch is a standing stitch, a standing single, 9 single back loop only, 8 and 9. Work front post double around this white front post double and skip a stitch, and work 13 single back loop only, 13, and work a front post double around the front post double in white, and skip a stitch, and this is the first stitch of the new repeat. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 64 and dark gray. Start in the white front post double of this V, with a standing single back loop only. Work a front post treble around this dark gray front post double, and skip a stitch and 7 single back loop only. And 7 on the front post treble 2 times over around this front post double and dark gray, and skip a stitch and 14 single back loop only. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And this is stitch number 1 of the new repeat. And go all the way around and close with a slip stitch. And the first standing stitch, round 65 and red. Start wherever you want with a standing single back loop only and work single crochet all the way around, back loop only. Close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch. Round 66 and dark gray. Now we work only in these dark gray loops. I'm sure you remember a little bit. So we start in this left V-arm in dark gray. I already made one repeat, but now we work together. So you start with a standing single and I work a single in this loop. And work a 5 double crochet popcorn between these 3 in the middle of these 3 stitches, and we work through both loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We close the popcorn and chain 1. Skip a stitch and single. A front post double around the first. Front post double in black. Skip a stitch, single. We skip this black stitch and the front post double around the third front post double. Skip a stitch and single. A double treble, 1, 2, 3 times over. We skip this stitch and work around this post. Skip a stitch and single. We skip this middle stitch here, this black middle stitch, and work another double treble around this post. Ooh. 3 times over. Skip a stitch, single. We skip this stitch and work around this one, front post double. Skip a stitch, single, and front post double around the last. Now we skip a stitch and single. A 5 double crochet popcorn in both of these loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. close the popcorn, skip a stitch and 4 single, 2, 3 and 4, a front post double around the third, so this middle front post double in black, so front post double around this stitch, skip a stitch and 3 single, 1, 2 and 3, and this is the point we start, so this is the first stitch of the next repeat. So take your time and go all the way around and close with a slip stitch on the first standing stitch. Round 67 and red. I already made one repeat where we work one together now. I'm sure I remember a little bit. We start on the 5 double crochet popcorn before the wide V arm here. You start with a standing front post half double and I work a front post half double. The half double we work back loop only, so we start with a half double, back loop only, and a front post half double, and half double, front post half double, half double, front post half double, and now we work a triple treble, so 4 times over and around this post. Front post half double, a half double, front post half double, half double, front post half double, and half double. A front post half double around the popcorn, 2 front post half double, back loop only, 3 double popcorn, 3 double crochet popcorn in the second wide loop, 1, 2 and 3. We close the popcorn and chain 1, skip a stitch, half double, back loop only, front post half double, half double, back loop only, 3 double popcorn in the first wide loop, 1, 2 and 3, close the popcorn, chain 1, we skip a stitch and 2 half double, back loop only. This is the first stitch of the next repeat. So go all the way around and close with a slip stitch, the first standing stitch. Round 68 and wide. Now we work in the stitches behind, in these red stitches behind. We start after these front post triple treble. So this is the stitch and this is the stitch behind, and we start after this stitch. So this is the first stitch. Start with a standing double and we work through both loops. Work 11 double crochet, and the first stitch is a standing double. 11. Now we connect the stitch between these two popcorn stitches, back loop only, and both loops the red stitches behind, and go on with 11 double, both loops, 11, and now work a front post half double around this front post triple treble, and skip a stitch, this, and this is the first stitch of the next repeat, and go all the way around, close with a slip stitch in the first standing stitch, and chain 2 and don't cut the yarn. Round 69, work half double in each stitch, back loop only, and on top of the triple treble work an increase, so 2 half double in one stitch, go all the way around, and on the end work the increase in the last stitch and close with a slip stitch in the second wide chain. Now we sew the two parts on the blanket with little stitches, one on this side and of course one on the opposite side. Now your blanket Bonny is finished. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you. Bye!